I'm working on an oil painting today and I'd love for you to join me. My name is Ginger and today I'll share with you a tip on what you can do to make your oil paintings dry faster. I have this huge acrylic canvas which I painted in 2011. It was kind of hanging on my hallway by a command strip Velcro. Then one day it just fell off the wall by itself. The Velcro must have lost its hold and that drop kind of damaged the painting, and I saw some chipped paint where the canvas hit the stairwell. So I decided I'm going to paint over this and use Shiva oil paint sticks and some Sennelier oil pastels. Following the fat over lean rule, it's okay to layer oil paints on top of acrylic, but you can't paint acrylics over oils. In other words, the underpainting should have less oil content than the top layer. Otherwise, you'll see cracks develop on your painting as the paint dries over time. Now, the problem with oils is that they don't dry quick enough. It takes months, sometimes a year, for oil paintings to really dry. They're dry to the touch in a matter of days or weeks, but oil paintings aren't fully cured until months have passed. And for those of you who tried Sennelier oil pastels, you'll discover that it doesn't dry at all. The painting still feels tacky after months of waiting, and that can be very frustrating, especially if you're not framing your work under glass. So in this episode, I'll show you how to use Winsor & Newton's fast drying medium, which I found to be such a huge help in solving this problem. Fast drying medium is exactly what its name implies. It helps dry your work faster, and there are many ways to apply it, which I'll show you in this video. One way is to cut a piece of your oil paint stick and mix it with a medium in a palette. I'm using a recyclable plastic as my palette. I got this from a take-home container. I don't want to use my real palette because this medium will harden soon and it will destroy my palette. But with this container, I can just easily throw it when I'm done painting. Anyway, the goal here is to create a creamy pigmented mixture which you can then apply with your paintbrush. Sometimes when I'm too lazy to mix, I just dip my oil paint stick or oil pastel directly into the fast drying medium, and with the tip already wet, I apply the paint on the canvas. Sometimes though, you don't get enough medium that way, so I keep dipping again and again before I color. Another easier way is to just paint straight away, like just rub your oil sticks or oil pastels directly on the canvas, then smooth over your work using a paintbrush that's been dipped in drying agent. That's actually the fastest and most efficient way to apply this Winsor & Newton fast drying medium. Now you might ask, what exactly does this fast drying medium do? Do you really need it? Because to be honest, this extra step in your oil painting process, it can get very tedious and messy. The most obvious result you'll see as you apply the medium is that the oil paint becomes thinner and less clumpy. It reduces the viscosity of the paint in the same manner that linseed oil is another solvent. It also lessens the viscosity. When a substance is viscous, it means it is thick and sticky and gooey. Imagine the consistency of honey or maple syrup. That is very viscous. What this drying oil does is to lessen the thickness of oil paint so that it can flow better, and you can move the paint around with your brush and get into the nitty-gritty details of your painting. Like I said, it works just like linseed oil. So if you're working with fast drying medium, you can forget about the linseed oil if you prefer it that way. The medium minimizes the appearance of brush strokes so the paint looks flatter like acrylic paint. If that's the effect you're going for, then this medium helps. You'll notice that the surface of the painting also produces some glossy sheen. Normally, Shiva paint sticks and Sennelier oil pastels, they dry to a matte or maybe a bit of a satin finish. But adding this Winsor & Newton fast drying medium, makes the paint shiny. This fast drying medium can also increase the transparency of the paint. So if you noticed a while ago, some of the colors I'm applying with the brush are not that deeply saturated because my brush has a little too much of this drying oil. The opacity of the colors is compromised a bit the more medium you use. So keep that in mind. Another thing worth noting is that this medium resists yellowing. That's according to the manufacturer. I have to say this product is not the only medium available out there that can speed up the drying of your oil paintings. There are different types of linseed oils and drying oils that can do the exact same thing. But what I'm saying is that this is the one I discovered to be effective for my Sennelier oil pastels. When I brushed this on top of Sennelier, the pastels dried to the touch within 3 to 4 days. Yeah, not months. I only experimented with Winsor to see if it will work on Sennelier, and it did. In case you're wondering what this whimsical painting is about, I called it Seaside Reef. These ovals here that form a line, these look like a decorative border, but that's actually my school of fish. I have two sailboats riding these huge waves here, and under the waves are my coral reefs and my whimsical versions of starfish and sea anemone. Okay friends, I hope you learned something informative from this video. So if you're hard pressed in finding a solution to your drying time problem, especially when you're using Sennelier oil pastels, give this Winsor & Newton fast drying medium a try. It really works. Now, one last exciting announcement before I end. My new blog is up and running. Please check it out. The link is in the description below. It's gingerumali.com. In the blog, you'll find lots of art inspirations, product reviews on art supplies, and tons of Bible studies and devotionals to inspire you and your faith. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. This is Ginger from Art That Plays and Prays. See you again next time.